Okay, so I guess I am back today. I didn't have an edit stream yesterday because I had some plumbing problems and I had to clear out this room that's kind of sort of flooded. So I'm gonna try to do a normal stream like normal, up to about 4 maybe, maybe sooner than that. He's supposed to come anytime between today and 4 o'clock, which is about 4 hours from now. Comes from my time. So, I might not be doing like a full stream today. One thing I did forget, though, that I have to pick up today is Sir William's backstory. Now, I'll give you an idea of why I need to add some more stuff in for Sir William here. Let's make sure I'm in the window. Let's do a find. Actually, I don't have to do that because it's showing the whole thing. It's just a find on the web page. Anyways, let's look at Sir William. So this is where they first encounter Sir William. Actually, we're actually firmly in Act Two, but I think he needs some either. It can still either be in Act Two or um, it can be in Act One. Kind of almost doesn't matter. Hmm. But Sir William needs something to do basically, or else I can just implement him as an NPC. And since I got the other heroes actually be working, I'll actually be using them. I decided to go ahead and try to come up with his. It's not really a backstory. The backstory is when he gets turned into a unicorn, but that's not what this is about. This is about him trying to find a way to get to turn back human, or at least to be able to talk to somebody somehow. So let's see something here. See, and this is already, yeah. And even though you're not really going to be in a battle like a what's a real time battle or even a turn based one actually, because this is an adventure game, this is an RPG. But you're not going to be in a battle. You'll probably still be directing the battle somewhat, what happens and stuff. But maybe not in this choose your own adventure style though. Uh, there's a possibility. Well, I might not do it, but I was going to say there's a possibility that Sir William could go in to the fairy tale books, him with his men to rescue the vacation princesses, and so that might be something that Sir William actually does. The player would might actually do. So, okay, so we need to. I need to see if I have any actual backstory in here. Uh, okay. Seeks a way to be changed back. And actually it's Hubert that changes him back though. Uh, okay. Sir William Devane, Esquire. Very detailed. What is Esquire anyways? Is Esquire like Esquire or something? What is an Esquire? Or what does it mean in a name? man or boy who is a member of the gentry in England ranking directly below a knight. Well, in this case, he is a knight, but he's an honorific usually in its abbreviated form, especially after the name of an attorney or consular officer. A barrister at law. Hmm, okay. Uh, Usually a courtesy title. Historically, it was a title of respect accorded to men of higher social rank, particularly members of the landed gentry above the rank of gentleman and below the rank of knight. Some sources cite that the title was bestowed on candidates for knighthood in England. It is also reserved for those in high respected band, even used with respect to other dignitaries such as justices of the peace, sheriffs, and sergeants. Um, William Blackstone's commentaries on the laws of England reiterated the title should be limited to those who only bear an office of trust under the crown and who are styled esquires by the king in their commissions and appointments. And all, I could see, who were once honored by the king with the title of esquire have a right to that distinction for life. Uh, General courtesy title for any man in a formal setting. Um, United Kingdom today, esquire still occasionally uses a written style of address in formal professional correspondence. Um, okay, granted, my game is not set in merry old England. Uh, it's actually in modern times or whatever I decide to set. At one point, I was thinking, maybe I'd set the R realm sequences or scenes in like the 80s or something. I have a thing. I like the 80s as kind of like my favorite decade or whatever. But I was gonna say, oh yeah. So you might not know it, but I am almost 50. So I was born in 75, and it's been, let's see, 1990 was 35 years ago. 35 years ago. So the 80s ended 35 years ago, or 36, however you want to say it. So I've had a lot of time between then and back then. Well, I have social anxiety. Okay, so here's the deal, right? I had it in school, but in school I was in school, which means I did things when I was a kid. I didn't have the social anxiety didn't manifest itself. So I didn't really experience that at all. Went to movies, went to the mall, went to blah blah blah, went everywhere. And then around the time I hit puberty is when the social anxiety kind of come on, basically. But still being like a high school kid, I, I still did stuff for my family and whatever. Still went to the mall, the movies, etc., and so forth. And then later on, my brother ended up moving out. Uh, Actually, in a sense, years back, but ended up moving out, and so then it was just me and my dad, and then we lived in a town called Wilsonville in Oregon from about 2000, actually officially from 1999 to about 2013 when we went over to. So okay, so um, like my high school years from 90 to 94 was at my grandpa's house after we had moved to live with our dad in Oregon. And then um, when he died, we eventually we had to move. So they had to sell my grandpa's house and stuff, and then we moved to a town called Boring. Um, and so it was just me and my dad, and my brother was still there, and then he left, and then it was just me and my dad, and then we moved to Wilsonville, like I said, in '99, and then it was just me and my dad, and then now it's been me and my dad for a while. So nowadays, I don't get out much, just to be honest. I watch a lot of TV. I watch like old TV, like old shows, old movies, and old. I mean old. I mean from like nowadays. I'm watching like westerns from the 1930s off of YouTube and stuff. So I'm kind of sheltered. I know a little bit about contemporary whatever because of like social media and stuff a little bit, but I'm not really in the loop, so to speak. I don't have kids. I've never had kids. I've never dated. So it's been pretty much me here by myself or me with my dad. And then especially um, since, uh, since he's gotten older, basically, we can't go out and do stuff now that much. Like go out. I mean, we go grocery shopping and, some regular stuff. We don't go to the movies and go out to the movies, I should say. And, of course, we had the pandemic and all that kind of junk, but so yeah, we don't even go out that much anymore just because of it's not feasible, basically. So, most of my good memories are from the '80s. Some of my not so good memories are from the '90s, mid '90s, and then after that, it's been kind of the same old kind of thing. So I don't have a clue what what kids listen to anymore, what they do. Like I said, if I had kids, if I got married and then had kids, I at least kind of know what they were into and stuff, and so I'd be kind of more up to date. So in a sense, I'm not really up to date at all. So all I know is '80s, '90s, back in the day, and even some of that's slipping now. So it's almost like I don't know nothing anymore. But that being said, the reason I'm saying that is because half the time when I think about doing something, making movies or making games or writing stories or whatever, I'm always thinking I might have to set it in some in some past time period because I just have no clue today of how people talk or what they do and stuff nowadays. Really, I mean, I know a few things. There's a few things that I like I said, social media and stuff. So I'm not like completely clueless, but I'm not in the thing. I don't know what the common slangs are and what are the popular, um, what are the popular video games the kids are playing these days, and whatever. And even some of the games I play, I played a few semi-modern games, but my last most modern game I played was Halo. Would have been like Halo 3, and hmm, and so even with games, I even play old games. So old games, old movies, old TV shows, that sort of thing. Don't really watch that many newer things. Most of it's older stuff. And then like I said, I'm at home most of the time, and so what little bit I do know, like, you know, so I don't know, I couldn't probably properly like writing a screenplay or now games are different. I could write a modern game because I can set the game world into anything I want to, basically. Well, I mean, you can with movies and novels and stuff, but with games, I can make a some sort of space game. I can even make retro stuff. It almost kind of doesn't matter. So if I'm making a game, the time period isn't going to matter all that much. But anything else, I won't know that much about. So when I say modern times in my game, might not be as it might not be um, that late. Might be the latest. Might be the mid '90s or something. And I didn't really like the '90s anyway, so '90s wouldn't be a thing that I do. I probably stick to the probably the '80s more than likely. So yeah, um, I'm fairly sheltered nowadays. So that being said, um, now the okay, so the reason I kind of went off on that tangent, I guess, at least today I'm thinking coherently today, is because I was trying to say that this is not merry old England. For one thing, it's a fantasy kingdom, magic kingdom, and the scenes in our world, like I said, modern might be the '80s or the '90s or something, or just some nondescript, semi-modern time period. Obviously, we have cell phones and our computers are faster, and there's things that I could probably write pretty much that could be today's modern really. Like if I talked about social media or something, I probably wouldn't talk about social media though. I still like my olden times, I guess. You know, I don't know. Being on computers to me isn't fun like it was. Partly because I was young, but also partly because um, I don't know. You were more invested, I guess. You can do anything on these computers nowadays. We watch, and mostly what I do now, though, is watch videos, right? I don't even do a lot of stuff on my computer that I could be doing, and stuff like programming and whatever. I never can say that I really liked programming all that much in a sense, but at the same time, um, I don't know. I think computers back in the day just a lot more fun, right? Because they couldn't do everything because the graphics weren't that realistic, or you know what I mean. It was cool to see the advancements that kept coming out. That was really cool. You know, I mean, it was cool to see Wolfenstein 3D for the first time doing the 3D thing. It was like magic almost. But then everything turned 3D, and so now 3D is just and now game system got like super uber realistic, and so um, it's like not fun anymore, I guess. I mean, yeah, I played games that I thought were good and stuff, like Halo or whatever, and um, specifically Halo 3, the Halo franchise. But it's different. I know. I look at older graphics and I go, "Oh, these graphics are really good." I look at modern graphics and kind of go, "Meh." I mean, yeah, you make it shinier, higher resolution, add better lighting, realistic ray tracing. It looks kind of cool, sort of. But at the same time, it doesn't. It's not a thrilling like it used to be. Anyways, what was I getting on to? Um, I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but okay. So, anyways, we're not in merry old England. We're not in 1600s, 1500s, 1100s, whatever. It's not like ancient times. It's modern times. It's just that it's a magic kingdom and it runs uh like something from old days would run. It's got modern conveniences though, but even though it's using magic instead of like science or whatever you want to say. So, anywho, I want to check something out here. I want to ask ChatGPT a question. Um, from what I learned the title Esquire was given to uh, to men that was above the class of gentlemen, but below knight back in England in maybe medieval times. Nowadays, it's uh, nowadays it's used for like lawyers and informally for professionals. Would Esquire be still used with a knight, though, or would that be strictly forbidden? I read somewhere that they could keep the title Esquire for life. I'm making a game with a knight named Sir William. However, it is a fantasy game, and the scenes in our world are in basically modern day, or some sort of timeless modern time period. Modern being the 20th century and later. So his full name is Sir William Devane Esquire. So I'm wondering if the Esquire is appropriate, because it sounds it's appropriate. Okay. Historical and traditional usage, esquire was indeed a rank above gentleman, but below knight. It was often used for squires, knights in training, right? Esquire. And those of certain social status. However, once someone is knighted, they were addressed as sir, and generally would not continue using esquire. That said, in your fantasy setting with a modern twist, the rules can be flexible. Since Sir William Devane Esquire exists in a world with both medieval and modern influence, it could work. If you use Esquire humorously, it means a relic and pre-knight days that he suddenly clings to, or maybe in your world, knights can still hold on to the Esquire for life. He's both a knight and a lawyer. If your modern scenes follow real world conventions, Esquire can be used as a legal or professional sense. That might would have been interesting if I would have thought about that. Esquire was just something I came up with because it sounds funny. You know, Bill S. Preston Esquire, and of course, that's from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and that was just something that they were. Bill probably thought sounded cool, so he put Esquire at the end of his name, or whatever. And so that's mostly how I'm using it. I'm using Esquire because think it sounds cool and it sounds fancy or whatever, fancy title. He both the knight and lawyer. So it would have probably worked in this game if he had been a lawyer also, and a lawyer. But I would have had to I mean, I could still do it, but I would have to like completely redo his story, and I would have to add some lawyer type of situations in there. Would actually require creating a new plot and subplot, and being able to fit it some sort of courtroom scene. Maybe maybe as a joke, what I could do is I have the Esquire in there, and if I put the Esquire in as a thing that they always talk when they talk to him, um, at the very end, could have a court scene with the villains. The villains, they're taking the villains to court, and Sir William is the prosecutor or something, and that would fit the Esquire thing. It might be kind of funny, although it would be just extra, I don't know, animation and wouldn't really serve the purpose of the game very much. Maybe back when um, Hubert had married Violet, and he was searching for the prenup. Maybe Sir William could have had something to do with finding the prenuptial agreement, and that would have been funny. But I kind of put this thing where I decided um, not to add stuff like divorces and affairs, and not that I wouldn't have done an affair anyways, really. But it was kind of the thing, because the original story was that uh, wizards marry, they give half of their magic to their spouse. And so basically, what happens is he gives half of his magic to Violet, and that's how she gets it. And then I was going to do this funny thing where the way he got it back was to come up with this prenuptial agreement that they had signed, that she didn't remember she had signed. So the idea was that the magic reverts back to him, and if I was just still doing something like that, I could have Sir William actually defend him in court, and that could have been like an end thing, court case or something. Would have worked because it's fantasy comedy and stuff. So yeah, I mean that would have been funny, but he's not a lawyer or whatever. Or maybe I could just do it as kind of a joke or something, or like maybe an allusion to his past life or something. It's an affectation or formality. Perhaps near-sighted knights of a certain order or background still retain esquire as a tradition. Strictly speaking, sir and esquire wouldn't usually go together, but since your game plays with time periods and fantasy conventions, you have room to make it work in a way that fits your world. If it's meant to sound extra formal, eccentric, or slightly anachronistic, Sir William Devane Esquire could be a fun quirk of his character. Yeah, and I could just put it in and not worry about the actual um, like the actual logicalness of it, right? It's just what it is. And then I could say see in my thing, I had a thing about knights, how they worked. Um the idea is it's not that they get appointed. I think knights, let's see. Like I don't think anybody could become a knight. In fact, you remember if you've ever watched The Knight's Tale, um the Heath Ledger's character becomes, Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. He becomes a squire to a knight at the beginning. So like when he's a kid, he goes and he becomes a squire, but he knows he can never be a knight. Um, were knights usually appointed, or could they work their way up to becoming one, or Shoot, I forgot. I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess I just forgot. Here, I'll switch it to desktop at least. At least you can see what I'm doing here. Uh, were knights usually appointed, or could they work their way up to becoming one? Or how did one become a knight, and who could become knights? I could look it up, but medieval Europe, knighthood was primarily a military and social rank that could be attained through different paths depending on the time period and region. Generally, there were three main ways to become a knight. Traditional path: page, squire, and knight. A boy usually of noble birth would start as a page, serving a noble household. In his teens, around age 14, become a squire, serving a knight directly, caring for weapons, armor, and horses while training in combat. Around 21 years old, deemed worthy that he could be dubbed a knight through a ceremony often involving a vigil, blessings, and the accolade where he was tapped on the shoulder with a sword. Knighthood by deed or battlefield promotion: a commoner or soldier who showed great bravery in battle could be knighted on the field by a king or a high-ranking noble. This is rare but possible, especially during wartime when skilled fighters were needed. Some lord-born men, like mercenaries, could eventually earn knighthood through exceptional service. Knighthood by royal or political appointment. Um, Kings or high-ranking nobles could grant knighthood directly for service, loyalty, or political reasons. Some knights were wealthy landowners who could afford armor and horses, earning a title by supporting a lord or the king. Later, some knighthoods became more ceremonial, granted by diplomacy, service, or even honors, as e.g. modern knighthoods in the UK. Who could become a knight? Nobles and gentry. Most knights came from noble or landowning families, since the cost of armor and weapons and war horse was expensive. Commoners rarely, while uncommon, exceptional warriors or loyal service could allow a commoner to be knighted, though they were the exception. Clergy in certain groups, priests and monks, generally couldn't become knights due to their religious vows, but some religious military orders, like the Knights Templar, had knight monks. Women, while extremely rare, a few historical women like Joan of Arc led the armies and were given military honors, though not officially knighted in the same way as men. So your game's fantasy setting with a mix of medieval and modern elements. You could tweak the rules of knighthood to fit your worlds, or women could have followed a traditional path, or maybe his knighthood was granted under unique circumstances. We'd like to tie this backstory to specific tradition or twists on historical knighthood. Um, let's see something here. I have something in my notes here. Uh, let's go. Let's look up the word knight, and let's find the words knights. Knights Academy, Knights Academy, Knights, Knight, Black Knight, Knight, Black Knight, 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 dead, dead, doot, doot, doot. Uh, let's see, unicorns. Okay, so in my thing, in my story, my little about royalty. Quick note about royalty: they're not a distinct race per se, but is generally treated as one. Kings and queens are not necessarily born into it, like kind of like the way there actually are nowadays. They have to be some sort of ancestry. A boy can become squires and eventually work their way to knights. Only a knight can become king. He must enter contests which others must challenge the current king. Defeated, the king must pass his crown to the knight that defeated him. Never done in anger, as if it's shown to be in anger and not in the spirit of friendly competition. A knight can be disgraced or shamed. So even though you're allowed to challenge the king and fight or contest with him, the king can, at his own discretion, deknight the person. Girls do something similar to become a lady in wait, can work her way up to princess. However, a new queen must be only picked, and a knight becomes king through challenge. A knight that becomes king must pick available princesses. Okay, I got. Okay, so that's how I did royalty here. Um, I did have some um, what word am I looking for? Um, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Have a guideline for the protocol. It's not protocol. Um, I had some description of royalty that included knights. Um, and honestly, I could ask it to give me the word. What word am I looking for? I was going to say protocol. Is protocol a correct word? A kind of a protocol. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for, but for for royalty, where um, to become a king, the person must, the man, I guess, man must be a knight first. They weren't born to it like in actual history. And then anyone could become a knight and first had to be a squire. I did forget about the rank of page though, so it might include that as well. Um, but there's an idea that you don't have to be a noble that is of a certain bloodline. That's interesting. Um, cause yeah, okay. I'm just thinking about my Bible and uh, you know how kings came to be in Israel, basically, and that is they were ruled by judges for a while, and then they wanted a king. They told God they wanted a king, and they kept crying for a king, and then finally it was it Samuel? Samuel? I keep thinking of Samuel. Um, he goes to God and says they keep wanting a king, and he was going, well, it's not you they're rejecting, it's me they're rejecting, so we'll give them a king. They won't like it, but we'll give them a king anyways. And so the first king being Saul, and and I'm thinking when I think back to like the medieval stuff, knights and you know how you had to always be noble rank, right? Noble blood to be a king, basically, which is basically the line of succession kind of thing, and it kind of ties back to the first king. Now I don't know about civilizations outside of like Israel that uh, outside of the Jews or the Hebrews, I guess. Um, so they might have obviously they already had kings because so it said that they wanted kings like every the other countries had kings. So this theory is probably not correct. But I was thinking, you know, you have to have this noble birth thing, and it's just if you think of kings in that way, is there's the first king, but then like King Saul was appointed by God, and then so now every descendant from that are quote unquote noble, bloodline. I'm not saying they're noble or not noble. I'm just saying as far as what they are and um, who can become king and queen and stuff. You know, you can only be a noble to do that, and that's the bloodline. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, I just my mind just goes off to different things. Reading stuff or whatever. Anyways, but there's an idea that you don't have to be noble that is of a certain bloodline uh, to become king. You have to instead be a knight and challenge the uh, king. And if you best him, you become king. And the idea is that it's supposed to be friendly. What did I say? Um, deny the yeah, not it. You can challenge the king, but it's not in the idea. It's supposed to be a friendly competition. Um, so you can challenge him, but not. You can challenge him. Um, I don't know. Looks like I might have to end here. Give me a second while I pause for a second here. I'm gonna cut the audio. Dang. I even somehow I turned off that I left it off. I didn't keep it on. Anyways, all I was gonna say is thanks. I have to cut this short because of the plumber coming here soon, and they changed plumbers on us, so I don't know how that's gonna work. So I might not be able to come back in here at all today. I'll have to wait till tomorrow for a proper live stream. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow, possibly.